On January 7, 1974, a war was waged in Tanzania between the chimpanzee clans of Kahama and Kasakela. The Gombe Stream National Park lay a region inhabited by the Kasakela chimps under the alpha Mike, who had successfully grown the community to 14 adult males. 6 of these males would often venture into the southern territory of the chimps' domain, creating a new community called Kahama. Over months, the males of the south and north communities would become increasingly hostile. Male patrols are being met with noisy shows of force. The Kahama had given up the northern territories to their old comrades, but the Kasakela community, now ruled by alpha male Figan, still had aspirations to roam into territory the Kasakela once called home. The Kasakela drew first blood when attacking the Kahama male Godi, who was feeding on a tree. Despite trying to flee, he was heavily beaten by the Kasakela males. After their victory hoots, they retreated. This is the first time a chimpanzee has been seen deliberately killing another male chimpanzee. Next was the chimp Day, who was ambushed and maimed after Goliath, an elderly chimp who was once friendly with the Kasakela. They returned the kindness with Faban of the Kasakela twisting Goliath's leg to dismember it. The chimp Hugh had disappeared, as did Willy Wally. An elderly Kahama female named Madam B also died of injuries days later. Charlie's body was found in a stream 3 days later. The last remaining chimp was a young Sniff, who lived for a year and might have hoped to start again in a new community. His fate was not a kind one. Of the Kahama females, 1 died, 2 went missing, and 3 were kidnapped. The Kasakela took over the Kahama territory, growing from 12 to 15 square kilometers and gorging on the food sources in the area. The victory was short-lived. The Kahama had acted as a buffer state with other chimpanzee communities, and now the Kasakela had violent skirmishes with the Kalande and Mitumba chimpanzee communities. They were shrinking to 5 square kilometers, which was not enough to stave off starvation. But an unusual amount of young males combined with the older members gave the impression of strength from the Kasakela. They regained their old territory, and eventually hostilities died down between the chimp kingdoms. Chimpanzee expert Jane Goodall was shocked by the outbreak of the war. This event and cannibalistic infanticide by female chimpanzees unveiled the dark side of these animals. Here's a quote: "For several years, I struggled to come to terms with this new knowledge. Often when I woke in the night, horrific pictures sprang unbidden to my mind. Satan, one of the apes, cupping his hand below Sniff's chin to drink the blood that welled from a great wound on his face. Old Rodolphe, usually so benign, standing upright to hurl a 4-pound rock at Godi's prostrate body. Jomeo tearing a strip of skin from Day's thigh. Figan charging and hitting. Again and again, the stricken, quivering body of Goliath, one of his childhood heroes." To end off with a quote by a Polish poet, Katarzyna Zechenta, on the event: "Still, I don't understand. Were these chimps so human, or are we such animals?"
Thanks for the money, dummies.